Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Alice, and I will be your host. Please note that we cannot hear you as you're on mute. If you have any questions during the presentation, please use the chat window. This presentation will last about 30 minutes. Once it's completed, we will address any questions during our open Q&A session. First of all, I would like to introduce today's speakers. Adam Chatterton, which is our GSX Solutions Americas Channel Manager, who will be introducing today's challenges related to Lync performance monitoring and how GSX Solutions can help you overcome these critical points. He will then be giving us some background information on our solution and the company. Then comes Olivier Reynaud, which is our Microsoft Specialist and Pre-Sales Manager, who will be giving us a demo of GSX Monitor and Analyzer for Lync. We will then finish with the Q&A session. Okay, so let's begin. Adam, maybe?
Thanks, Alice, and thanks to everyone that's joining us today from our worldwide audience. So as Alice mentioned briefly there, what we'll be covering today is several topics. The first will be some of the most common issues associated with Microsoft Lync. Secondly, we'll touch base on why Microsoft Lync's performance monitoring is critical. I'll also speak about who GSX is and what our business value proposition is. And then Olivier will give you a quick demo of GSX Monitor and Analyzer. And finally, we'll finish up with a Q&A session as mentioned before. So just to hop right into it, we'll start off by speaking a bit about Microsoft Lync in general and the evolution. So the Lync that we all know and love can trace its roots back all the way to Microsoft Office Live Communication Server, which was originally released in 2003. The server software took the name Microsoft Lync in 2010, which is the last year that received a major overhaul. That changed, of course, with the release of Lync Server 2013. It's already proven to be one of the most popular versions of the communication platform ever, mostly due to the easy-to-use interface and the long list of new functions that have been added as well. And what we've seen through some of our research is that Lync 2013 is quickly becoming the most popular UC solution in the world, especially in the USA, where almost 75% of companies already have or have plans to trial Microsoft Lync. So really interesting and definitely a rapidly growing market. So to speak a bit about why Lync is critical for companies, Lync has definitely evolved and is becoming more and more critical to the business line in general. We're seeing that obviously video conferencing is increasing communication, and it's allowing for an evolution on how we really work in day-to-day. Instant messaging is no longer just a nice to have, and within organizations, it's really becoming the company standard for communication. It's definitely allowing for greater efficiency, which is reducing the cost of communication through other channels like voice over IP and email, and certainly it allows for a really quick and easy way to actually communicate with coworkers internally. Lync is also reducing travel budgets for people. So people that normally would have to be going face-to-face and seeing people for these meetings, they can do that over the internet with the voice conferencing and the ability to share their desktop and give demos just like we're doing here today. And then beyond that as well, phone budgets for remote employees and IT budgets in general for those remote employees is decreasing, allowing them to have much more synergy with the company and ability to speak with people. So what was really just a nice-to-have tool is now a critical application that really requires availability. It requires exceptional performance, which we'll speak about the monitoring side across that. You're going to have to deal with end-user satisfaction and the utilization of the tool to help justify the cost. And then within that cost control, you have to take a look at the data and the bandwidth consumption as well.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. So in order to highlight these performance requirements, I have gathered for you the top 5 common Lync issues. So this has been a feedback from different customers, but also from Microsoft. So first, probably top common thing to look at with Lync is the QoS, so the quality of service. I guess most of you are familiar with that. It's a way to assign the network packets higher priorities so they can be faster and more reliable if you cannot increase the bandwidth. So this is something to definitely look at for 2010 and 2013. It has happened often that it's not implemented correctly, especially if it's not implemented everywhere in the different company sites. So it's really something important to look at, and you should make sure that the network team is really on board with Lync, because it's not just any application. This is a real-time communication application, so it needs to be really fast and reliable on the network when it transports these different network packets. Second common issue with Lync is going to be the VM hosts. So the team that manages the different VMs should really work through, there's a white paper that you will have the link part of this presentation, a white paper from Microsoft that defines the kind of best practices when you implement Lync on different VMs. So for example, just to give you a few, the network cards should have the VM queuing enabled if the drivers on the host supports that. So that all the different network packets can be delivered on the Lync machines in the best timely fashion. Also, there should not be any dynamic memory. If the Lync server needs more memory, it needs it immediately. It cannot wait to be assigned by the VM host. Third common issue, SQL performance. So be careful, the SQL team should not treat Lync as any database application. It is not. It's again, as I said, it's a real-time application, so it needs to be able to pull data very quickly from the database. So this needs to including the disks, performance, CPU, RAM. These should be like highly performing. You don't want the stored procedure to run in more than a few milliseconds, really. The other thing, so probably the fourth common issue, the edge server. So the edge server most likely is in the DMZ, so the security guys most want to protect that as much as they can, so they can put NAT so that the external IP address is not routable. But Lync supports only one NAT, so it's one NAT and one NAT only. So if you have, for example, a hardware load balancer, this is going to count as a NAT device. So then you would need to use the real IP address. So just be careful, you cannot violate this double NAT rule. If you want to NAT, you could remove the hardware load balancer and use DNS load balancing. But if you do that, some federation with the older version of Lync, so OCS in particular. So the last, but not least, is the performance on the Lync front-end server. And this is really for 2013. So now that every front-end server has a SQL Express running, it needs really to have better performance on these front-end servers because that local SQL Express is going to provide a lot of the data for the front-end server. So you do need to look at the different performance, especially the disk performance on the different front-end servers and on each of them. So this is where we're going to show you what we can do for that and what you should be looking at. Just have a quick question for you guys. You probably have a poll window that popped up earlier, so it would be great if you can answer that. It's just to know if you have or if you plan to deploy the Lync monitoring role part of Lync 2013, or even if you're on Lync 2010. So it'd be great if you can let us know about this, and then we'll be able to share with you. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. So the Lync monitoring role, let me just check if I can get the result from the poll. Okay, it seems that most of you have answered now. So that Lync monitoring role, it's a great way to have more visibility on your Lync infrastructure. So overall, the monitoring is really important. From a monitoring standpoint, you need to be able to look at the evolution of performance, look at the usage, the user adoption to see the different users, what they use, how they access Lync, what client they use. And it's really important to be able to proactively see the user experience, anticipate any changes that would be required later on. So that Lync monitoring role that has been added from Microsoft in Lync 2010 and now even better in Lync 2013 gives you a lot of different information on the call diagnostics, the usage, some of the failures that happened. So it's really a great way to look at the usage, kind of troubleshoot if your I don't know, your CEO comes to you and complains about a specific call he made 2 days ago. You can look at that, but it's really reactive. It's not that much proactive. I even wonder why they call that the monitoring role, because really what it's doing is more like writing down, it's logging all the event and reporting on these. And also there's a limited retention on that and no alerting at all. So that's why I would like to show you real quickly now what GSX can do for you in order for you to really monitor the quality of service that you deliver to the end users, and to be able to report on that and be alerted before the end users complains, not after, and troubleshoot what happened in their call. So with GSX, you're going to be able to simulate an end user, retrieve the different performance counters, and be alerted. So we're going to show you that right now. Just Adam is going to do a quick introduction about GSX for some of you that wouldn't have heard about us yet.
Thanks, Olivier. So yeah, just quickly, for everybody that doesn't know about GSX, I see some names that are familiar that you probably do, so I'm sorry for that. We've been in business for over 17 years now in the monitoring and reporting space. We actually started in the IBM space and have evolved, as the market has as well, into a Microsoft-centric company. We have our headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. We have 2 offices in the USA, one in Buffalo, New York, one in Boston, Massachusetts, where Olivier and I are located. We also have offices in the UK, France, Switzerland, and China. And then some of the recent awards that we have received are Best of TechEd in 2012 for our SharePoint product, and the Best of TechEd in 2013 for Exchange product. We also won the Gold Award from msexchange.org on our monitoring tool. To speak a bit about the companies that we work with, some of our customers and partners you can see on this slide here, so it's the obligatory logo slide that you see every vendor post out there on their webinar. We do think it's important that everybody understands that we work with, yes, some of the largest companies in the world like HSBC, Boeing, Johnson Controls. However, the size of the company doesn't necessarily matter. It's also how critical the environment is. You can also see on here too, we have some of our partners listed like Atita, Greystone, Orange Business Services. So we do have a great partner program as well, and anybody that's interested in that can certainly talk with me after the webinar today. So the focus of the webinar today is going to be much more on Microsoft Lync, obviously, but that's not the only platform that we can help you manage. We also have the functionality to monitor IBM Notes, IBM Traveler, Same Time, and IBM Quicker. We have a great BlackBerry Enterprise Server monitoring tool, and of course we can monitor also Microsoft SharePoint on-premise. We can monitor Exchange on-premise, hybrid, and also Exchange Online. And Olivier will go into a bit more exactly what we're doing from a monitoring standpoint, which is very quickly, it's a completely agentless tool. It's performing end-to-end tests And all the alerts are done by thresholds. We also have GSX Analyzer, which is our reporting tool, and we have full integration with enterprise management tools like System Center as well. So with that being said, I'll hand it back over to Olivier, who will cover a couple more things, and then we'll go into the demo. Thank you.
Yeah, just a quick overview, and I'll jump into a really quick demo. So as Adam mentioned, so we're agentless. We do everything remotely, as some of you already know. And really our focus is to try to use the system as an end user. So even for Lync, as we do for the other platforms, we're going to constantly perform synthetic transaction. And this at the server level, and aggregate this at the infrastructure level to know about the service that you deliver to the end user. And of course, we're going to look at the system level as well to make sure the performance is there from the different counters from a system perspective as well. And also this, for most platforms that we do, as we really perform end-user scenarios, you can perform this from multiple locations. And this allows you to detect any performance issue not only on your servers, but from remote locations that might have a connectivity issue with the service that you provide to them. So this way you really ensure that the service is delivered and users are satisfied, and the application that you provide is performing well. And the monitoring and reporting is really important because it can also not only help you ensure the service that you deliver to the end user, but also justify the cost. So for example, you can do a lot of capacity planning, look at the usage performance, anticipate the need for new Lync servers. You can easily do that in the reporting I'll show you right after. And the main thing is you can really be alerted proactively before any issues can happen to the end users. And you want to know before they can be impacted, not after they complain. And so our tool not only does the monitoring, but also the reporting. So from a reporting standpoint, we really have a unified dashboard that you can use. You can see the different metrics that we'll gather. You can easily manage SLAs. So if you have specific service level agreements that you have to your customers or that you put to yourself for your team, in order to make sure that you always provide the best quality service for your end users. You can see, you can easily make graphs. I'll show you that right after in the little demo. So let's just jump into the demo right now. So our tool is split in two parts. You have the real-time monitoring that you see right now. This is a desktop application, and as mentioned, this is going to do everything remotely. So there is absolutely nothing to install on your servers for Exchange, for SharePoint, and even for Lync. So here would be a dashboard where you can see all your different platforms, but let's focus today on the Lync server. So if we look at here, you can see the different Lync servers. We have Enterprise Pool, we have the Standard Edition here. You can look, we divided Lync into different services. So you can see the system status here, green, everything's fine. And then we have divided into 4 categories. The front-end core services. So this is going to be authentication, the presence, LIS service. And then we divide into the web application for all the meetings that happen into the web, on the web application. And then we have instant messaging and VoIP for all the audio and video calls. So if everything green is fine, if you have a red LED, you can see the test that didn't succeed. And if we deep dive into the statistics, you can really see all the different tests that we perform. So you have some system metrics at the top, Windows services, disk space, because we mentioned that we need to look at these different performance counters to make sure the different front-end service are performing well. But also on top of that, you need to make sure that the different services that the user are going to consume are available and performing well. So for example, you can see here at the front end, we're going to do a real user authentication. So contacting the server, register the user into the pool, authenticate that user. We're going to look at the address book. We're going to make sure you can you can set the presence service to notify the other user of your current status. For the instant messaging, we're really going to do the complete end-to-end user scenario. So it's going to be, for all these different tests, you're going to have to set 2 test users. And for example, in the instant messaging scenario, we're going to actually invite user 2 from user 1, then send a message to him after both users were, of course, registered and authenticated. And we're going to make sure that test message was received at the user 2 account. So it's really an end-to-end test, and you can see how long it took to perform this test. And of course, you can be alerted if it exceeds a certain threshold for each of the tests. So you see the web app test, instant messaging, VoIP. For each of these, we retrieve different performance counters. We have many of them, but we actually show you the most important here, and you can be alerted on the different threshold. And all this information that we gather here, for some of you that know Analyzer, you can also see all that data. So the reporting tool, GSX, where you can focus on the different data that matters to you, set the different gauges, see the availability in the past days, and the specific alerts that happened in the past. And really the most important feature here, most utilized certainly, are the reports, the historical data, and see the forecasting here as a dotted line. You can easily drag and drop any kind of statistics. So we have here, I included all the different stats that we retrieve, but you can make stats on the different services, different performance counters. And if you just like to know the global service that you deliver, the global health of your Lync infrastructure, we have built with Microsoft consulting services using the different thresholds that they recommend as best practice. So you can instantly perform such a report and look at the different data. So here, it's pretty bad infrastructure that you can see as test. But here, for example, for the CPU, you can immediately spot the servers that have issues, and they'll drill down the different statistics for each of them. So it was a short but informative demo. I hope it gave you the envy to have a more in-depth demo. Do not hesitate to contact us if you do. Just to do a quick sum up on the different benefits that you can have while monitoring with GSX. You can easily monitor different platforms, as Adam mentioned to you, so Lync Exchange, Exchange Online, in our solution. You can easily test all the critical features, and as mentioned, really from an end user perspective. It's easy to install. There's no hidden cost to maintain the software. We will collect all the critical performance counter for you to help you troubleshoot the quality of service. This will ensure the end user satisfaction. If you're migrating to Lync, you can ensure user adoption by making sure the service is there and be alerted before there might be an issue. So really easy to monitor and report on the Lync service that you deliver. So Adam, I'll let you talk a little bit about the trial.
Sure. Thanks, Olivier. And yeah, just to wrap up here before we get to the Q&A, I did see some questions come in, so we'll get to those as soon as possible. We do have a free trial available, GSX Monitor and Analyzer. It's a 30-day trial. You have unlimited users. It has full functionality of the tools. There's no limitations. That can be downloaded right off our website. You just have to fill out a simple form, and we'll direct you to the download link. Typically, I would say the actual install takes anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and then from there, it's about configuring the custom reports or alerts that you want to set up. Olivia, if you hop to the next slide, just so everybody knows, if you want to get in touch with us to schedule a full demo, or if you'd like, we could also help you guys out with the install and configuration of GSX for the first time. You can reach us at sales@gsx.com, or you can call us directly at 877-894-0961, and we'll get in touch with you or put you in touch with the right person so that we can help you out with whatever you may need. So finally, Alice, I think you were the one fielding the questions here. Could you go ahead and pull those up and let us know what questions came in? Alice, are you there? I don't know if we have you on. You're still on mute. If you can.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Perfect. Sorry for that. Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank the people who took the time to reply to our questions before. That was, have you deployed the Lync monitoring role, or will you deploy it in your company? So 60% of the people replied to this question, 25% replied yes, and 33% people replied no. So thank you for this. And then these are the following questions that came up. So what technology do you use to monitor Lync if there are no agents?
So I'll take that question. So we mainly use PowerShell. We remote connect. We connect to the server using remote PowerShell for two main things: retrieve the different performance counters, disk information, CPU, RAM, all that, and then we're going to trigger synthetic transactions by using PowerShell commandlets. So this is the only thing that we use, and it's pretty easy to set this up. All you need to open is basically one port, as the port 80 is most likely already opened.
Okay, thank you, Olivier. Then we have another question here who says, can we install the Lync component on the same GSX computer for other components already installed?
Then the question would be like, can I monitor Exchange, Lync, and SharePoint on the same GSX station? If that is the question, yes. This is just another component we added in the 10.9 version. So if you upgrade, if you already have GSX and you upgrade, or you just deploy a 10.9 version, you can easily monitor your different platforms from a single GSX station.
Okay, thank you. Then what versions of Lync do you monitor?
So currently the 10.9 only supports Lync 2013. Most of the tests that we perform are supported by Lync 2010, so we plan to add support for Lync 2010 by the end of the year or early next year.
Okay, then there's another question. How do you license Lync?
So Adam, I think this is a question for you.
Sure, yeah. So there's two ways that the tool is actually licensed. I'll start with that. So you can buy it as a perpetual license. So basically what that means is you buy the licenses outright, and then after the first year, you're paying a yearly maintenance fee to be able to upgrade to the latest versions of GSX, and also that includes the support from our support team. The other way is a subscription model, so that's on a monthly basis. It includes maintenance, and it's basically a monthly fee based on the number of users in the Lync environment. So for Lync specifically, it's done on the number of users.
Okay, thank you. Then there's another one here. What is the impact of GSX Solutions on a Lync server?
So I'll take that. So it's really minimal, as we do for the other platforms. The synthetic transactions that we trigger is just like an extra user that would send an instant message every 10 or 15 minutes, depending on your settings. And same for the performance counter. We use remote PowerShell, we just collect them. There's no real impact on the server. It's really minimal. So usually what we say is that we're just an extra user. We're like that robot user that you deploy in one or multiple locations, and that will just use Lync as the other users.
Okay, so there's another question here who says, do you have the concept of remote agents for the collection of real-world metrics?
So I assume this would be like to get the user perspective from different locations. If this is the case, what you can just deploy a GSX station. That's why we call that the robot user. So basically, the interface I showed you, you can just run the Windows service from different stations in different locations. And these can be gathered in the same GSX Analyzer dashboard. So if by remote agent you mean deploying a station in a specific location, yes, we could do that.
Okay, there's another question here.
I hope that answers the question. Just don't hesitate to
it was
ask again if not.
Answer from the person who asked it. Does user authentication include testing both Kerberos and MTLM?
Yes, you can set basically the authentication method that will be used in the test. So yes, this is a parameter I didn't show in the wizard, but you can easily change that. You can change the authentication for GSX and also for the user authentication test.
Okay, and then we'll continue with the last question. How does this test VoIP and relative MOS score?
Can you say that again, please?
How does this test VoIP and relative MOS score? So
about the VoIP tests, I'm assuming. I didn't get the end of what you said. So the VoIP tests, you have different tests that we can perform, either a peer-to-peer conference call, ESTN,
Olivier, I'm sorry.
an audio conference. Sorry, go ahead.
Could you start again, please, because we didn't hear what you were saying.
No, I was just saying, so
I'm sorry, there must be a
that it was possible to set this up.
Yeah, Olivier, we keep losing you. It's cutting out. But what we can do, guys, is we have all the questions here. So we can take anything that wasn't answered and email you or basically send out a sum up to the group based on the questions that were asked that we didn't get to today. So apologize for the technical difficulties there at the end. I think basically that's all we had for you today. And as we mentioned before, if you want to see a more in-depth demo, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at sales@gsx.com. And we certainly can set up a session with Olivier as well if you want to go a bit more into a deep technical dive on the tool. So thanks for everyone for joining, and we will talk to you next time.
Okay, take care, everyone, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you.